It don't matter about the suit or what kind of clothes you got. It's your game. As long as you got skills, and we know I got skills. Right. Let me go and play that. I'm gonna go ahead and play that.
A few moments later.
That's Vince Carter. This is year number 22. He moved from their championship. Bronny James trying to create some space. James, three.
Why don't you try being like everyone else?
How am I gonna do that?
You can start by getting a job.
Hello, welcome to McDonald's. May I take your order, please?
Regarding the spectacle, the LeBron James fiasco. LeBron James is one of the most embarrassing and pitiful things I've ever witnessed in professional sports, and we think it's reached Brock's lowest point. For example, in his third preseason game against the Bucks, only 6 minutes of play went by, and all 4 shooting missed 23s and 18 minutes. My God, what is that smell? It must have been intentional bad play, because it had that much of a negative impact, and calculating Breeze plus -3 games in is -40 and 35 minutes, which by far is the worst of the entire Lakers roster. Because he's Bronny James, the media will push him out there on opening night so he can have that moment with his dad that ESPN will be drooling over.
We're going to be seeing history very, very soon. Their debut together, the first father-son duo in NBA history to play at the same time in a game, will be as soon as opening night, October 22nd, against the Minnesota Timberwolves at home.
Stopping Shams right there, throwing Brand to the Wolves in Game 1. I mean, this guy is a glorified pawn and a joke, and to get that quote-unquote moment, it will last at most 1.5 to 2 minutes. Hopefully, that time won't be -5, but after that game, the NBA will be turned into a reality show, and the Real Housewives of Los Angeles will be a non-factor, and really a non-story for the remainder of the season. The entire Bronny experiment turns the NBA into a reality show, and the media focuses more on the spectacle of Bronny than on the court. In fact, James would not be in the NBA if he weren't, in contrast to his Lakers teammates. Here are the preseason rankings for the 18 players on the roster. 17th figure percentage, 17th three-point percent. It's pretty obvious that Bronny James isn't an NBA player and that he's the worst player on the Lakers roster. Other players who aren't well known aren't even relevant during the preseason, like Quincy Aller, Emmanuel T. Kyler Kelly. They are still playing better than James, and their last name isn't James. We're going to get that moment in those guaranteed minutes on opening night because, once more, Bronny James is a glorified Make-A-Wish candidate. If you want to talk about breaking into the NBA and earning your spot in the league, it's one of the hardest things you can do. But for Bronny James, he skipped not 1, not 2, but 3 or 4 steps. The problem is that, although your father and other family members can help you get in, eventually your playability must keep you on the roster. Up until now, Bronny has been incredibly weak, pathetic, and underperforming despite extremely low expectations. Speaking of pathetic, Stephen A. Smith has actually defended this move, saying, quote, "LeBron has earned this."
Now here's the deal. I've noticed, I'm sure y'all have noticed, that many people have been critical of the fact that Bronny is on the team to begin with. But guess what? I'm not one of them. I want to say this because it's important to point this out, okay? It is a damn travesty that you got people running their damn mouths acting like it's a problem that he got his son on the team. Ladies and gentlemen, LeBron has earned this.
What did you just say?
LeBron has earned this.
Repeat it through my face. Since LeBron has earned this opportunity once more, stopping Stephen A. in his tracks and interrupting his digressions in a pitiful attempt to protect LeBron James actually gave away the secret. What did he say? This is something that LeBron James has earned, and I'm going to show you guys. The NBA as a whole is aware that Bronny James isn't ready for the NBA fans to see him, and he is the first player to be treated like a Make-A-Wish candidate. JMS is aware of it. Everyone on his team is aware of it, including the players. Ultimately, this is a charade for LeBron James to appease his ego and his legacy, and when you look at clutch sports, people like Rich Paul push the narrative that LeBron James is stupid because he has no say in coaching, roster decisions, offensive system decisions, or any of that. Lakers this summer signed JJ Redick as their coach then. LeBron's podcast partner selected his son, a below-average college player in the worst conference of the Power 5, to claim that LeBron James has no influence or input in the Lakers. This summer alone proves it, but consider his time in Cleveland and Miami, where he consistently contributed to the roster and served as coach. The Golden State Warriors also mentioned, verbatim, that they were considering selecting Bronny but decided against it in order to appease LeBron's demands. Case closed. NBA teams and GMs are aware that this is LeBron's move and that he is making all the decisions. I'm not some detective, some genius, some basketball, to put it plainly. I'm one of the very few who calls it out and tells it like it is if you want answers. I want the truth because you can't handle it. Finally, a lot of the pro-Bronny media are being soft on him. They see Bronny and LeBron as a 1-2 package. When Bronny performs poorly, they criticize that it's an attack on LeBron James, and vice versa. This means that just because you're LeBron James's son doesn't mean you're an NBA prospect or a very good NBA player, because they will defend him for one reason and one reason only. He's LeBron James's son. Bronny has been a below-average player at every stage since high school. College was far below average, the summer league was below average, the preseason was the poorest player on the team, and finally, we were among the worst players on the NBA squad overall. Fiasco. Bronny, it is a mockery of the game since, based only on play and statistics, Bron's summer league standings shouldn't have been in the top 170, and his goal percentage couldn't have been 300. 3% was 300 and plus minus ranked 419 where you were in the restroom. To cut a long story short, if it had been Bronny Caldwell, Bronny Johnson, he would be abroad right now playing as their sixth man in a BTR Italian league because he is Bronny James, and he will be out on TNT's Lakers opening night as the so-called father-son. Since they are important and authentic spectacles, the moment is truly not a moment but rather a spectacle. You were merely there to watch it sort of happen. This is not a moment. Rather, it's a spectacle, a comedy, and a parody of the game. Finally, I'll say this for the Brian defenders. How many times are you going to be duped? Give him a pass or ignore him. In college got to a very bad start, well you know he'll find his groove, give him time. Well, end of the college season didn't find his groove, under 5 points, under 40% shooting, he was awful and of the worst players in his conference. Well you know in the summer give him time to train, he'll be better, come back stronger. Well, has that summer declares for the draft prematurely and of course not allowed to criticize that move. Then of course the LA Summer League versus the Heat, the Kings, those teams. You know, not playing great, but just you know, wait till he gets to Vegas, the real summer league things will really pick up. Well, Vegas happens, and like clock where Bronny James plays bad, underperforms, well you know give him one more chance. His has got to learn, grow, be around actual NBA players. Those summer league guys, his teammates, they were beneath him. Well, Bronny finally in the NBA playing with the big boys, and his even worse. At what point do we just say what everyone can see? As always, thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. Bronny James is a terrible NBA player, and if he somehow makes it into LA's active roster, he will rank among the league's worst players. I'll see you next time.